will now be giving a synopsis of the Sicha, of the talk of the Rebbe MHM Shlita of Shabbos Parashas Re'eh, Shabbos Reish Chodesh Elul, Tinase 5751. This Sicha can be viewed as a continuation of last week's Sicha of Parshas Re'eh. In the Sicha, immediately at the beginning, the Rebbe Moshiach poses a question, an apparent contradiction. The name of the Parsha is Re'eh, which means see. For the opening words are that Hashem says, Re'eh anochi noisin lifnechem hayoim. See that I am placing before you today bracha, blessing. That would indicate the idea of godliness from above. The assistance that we get from Hashem coming from above, otherwise known as Isarusa de La'ela, the arousal of above. And Elul, which this is Reish Chodesh Elul, the first of the month, the head of the month of Elul, Elul seemingly is the exact opposite approach, as is emphasized in the acronym of Elul, Ani l'doidi v'doidi li. I, the Jew, am to my beloved, and my beloved is to me. Meaning first there's the Ani l'doidi, and only afterwards comes the v'doidi li. And here we find that Re'eh seems to be the exact opposite. So we will be able to answer that true, the month of Elul is connected with, it's associated with the service of man, milamato lemaila, from down upward. However, when it comes to Elul, we need to make a cheshbon hanefesh, we need to make an accounting of our service to Hashem, and that has to be with regards to all types of service, from down upwards as well as from above downward, which is brought out in Re'eh. And this, in fact, is why Reish Chodesh Elul is on Parshas Re'eh, because Re'eh is always going to be associated with the beginning of Elul. In most years, Re'eh is Shabbos Mevarchim, or as this year, it is actually Reish Chodesh. However, the Rebbe MHM sort of rejects that suggestion, and he says that Parshas Re'eh is connected with Avodah of milamato lemaila, from down upward as well. Because it's always either, as we said, the beginning of Elul or right before Elul, the Shabbos which blesses the month of Elul. And Elul, of course, is connected to the upcoming months, which are the months of the winter. And in general, the difference between the winter months and the summer months, as far as serving Hashem is concerned, that all of the winter months are considered from down upward, and all of the summer months are considered from up downward. And this, in fact, is why we find that in Parshas Re'eh, the end of the Parsha speaks about the festival of Sukkot and Shmini Atzeres. And that is in the month of Tishrei. So Parshas Re'eh is coming to teach us that since during Elul, what we need to have is not just service of Ani l'doidi from down upward, and not just to have both, and starting with the service of Ani l'doidi first, and then v'doidi li, but actually the avodah of Elul is such an avodah that we're supposed to have, and we're supposed to be making a calculation for the entire past year, and a preparation for the entire upcoming year, of having both of these opposite approaches, of down upward, isarusa de lesata, arousal from below, and from above downward, isarusa de le'ela, arousal of above, the way the two of them are absolutely fused together. And each one, of course, has an advantage over the other, and each one has a disadvantage, so to say. And here we want to have only all of the advantages. So although we're starting with Ani l'doidi, and that is the service of the individual coming from below, so it's more internalized, it's more personal, and the fact that the downside of it, so to say, is that it's a much lower level of intensity of godliness because it's starting from the Jew. But we should know that no, from the very beginning, we already have the koyach, we already have the revelation, and we are empowered with the power of above in a way of literally being above and beyond all limitations, absolutely infinite. And that was the theme of the previous Sicha of Parshas Re'eh. Therefore, as we're starting the first words in the Torah portion on this Shabbos, of either Shabbos Mevarchim, or as in this case, Shabbos Reish Chodesh Elul, so the Torah tells us, Re'eh, see, take a look, pay close attention. Anoichi, I, Now that is the essence of Hashem, or as the Rebbe MHM translates it into avodah, the way it applies within our godly service. I, which is the neshama of every single Jew, which is absolutely one with Hashem himself, as the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, that it's a chelek elikam imal mamish. So that is above and beyond any limitations. That is found internally within every Jew. Noisein lifneichem hayoim, and placing before you today. And therefore, every single Jew has the power to be able to serve Hashem beyond any limitation. Now, to serve Hashem in such a way, truly and completely in the most perfect way, actually only be when we have the true and complete redemption, as is hinted to in the 5th of the acronyms of Elul. The Rebbe MHM spells out all 5 Rashi Tevis, all 5 acronyms of the month of Elul, and he gives us a directive to publicize this to everyone, that Elul is the service of all 5 of these types of service, and primarily with the emphasis on how they all have to be permeated completely with the 5th one, which is the one of Geula. The first one, which is the Rashi Tevis for Torah, study of Torah, that is Ina liyodei v'samti lecha. That is a reference to the cities of refuge, where someone who accidentally, chas v'shalom, killed another person, so he takes refuge in one of those cities of refuge in Eretz Yisrael. So the words in the discussion about those cities is Ina liyodei, that Hashem made it happen to his hand. V'samti lecha, I will give you a city, I will give you a place of refuge. So take those first 4 letters. Ina liyodei v'samti lecha is the acronym of Elul. And then we have avodah, which is service of Hashem through prayer. Ani l'doidi v'doidi li. I am to my beloved, and my beloved is to me. That, of course, is expressed through our prayer when we are expressing our love for Hashem. And then gmilus chasadim, charity and acts of kindness. That is hinted to in the Rashi Tevis of Ish l're'ehu umatonis lavyonim from the Megillas Esther, where each man, each person is to give their fellow food gifts, and they're to give gifts to the poor. So take those 4 words again. Ish l're'ehu umatonis lavyonim spells out Elul. And then the 4th one is Teshuvah. Those are the 3 pillars upon which the world stands. Torah, avodah, and gmilus chasadim. And then we have Teshuvah. And Tshuva is referred to in Parshas Nitzavim. So it says that in the times of Moshiach, Hashem will remove the cover of our hearts, will remove the foreskin, as it were, and will be able to serve Hashem completely. Es levavcha ve'es levav. Those 4 words again spell out Elul, and that refers to Teshuvah. And finally, the 5th acronym, and the main one, the one which corresponds to redemption. In Parshas Bishalach, the Shira, which we actually say every morning in our Shachris prayers, Ashira L'Hashem Vayemru Lemar, again spells out Elul. So this means that we serve Hashem on all 3 pillars, and for that matter, the 3 worlds of Bria, Yetzirah, and Asiyah, in a way which is higher and above limitation, which is introduced through Teshuvah, which is the 4th world of Atzilus, and then higher yet beyond any world, even higher than the world of Atzilus. This is the 5th element, and this, of course, is Geula. So we're truly going to be able to have this type of a service of fusing the service of below upward and above downward as one, meaning that we, as the individuals down here, can serve Hashem above and beyond any limitation, actually will only be able to realize and truly done in the times of the redemption, once we get to that point. And that is, of course, the theme. And that is the counting that we make now. And the redemption is especially connected with this, the year of Tinaseh, the year of Niflois, the year of wonders, especially this Shabbos, which is Rosh Chodesh Elul. So therefore, the Geula has to come immediately on this very day of Shabbos, immediately. So to sum up the Maaseh, what in fact are the directives that the Rebbe MHM is telling us in this Sicha? So one is the avodah, and to publicize all of the 5 Rashi Tevis, as we just said, of Torah, and avodah, which is Tefillah, Gemilas Chasadim, Teshuva, and primarily with the emphasis on Geula. And that is accomplished by having everything permeated. All of our matters of serving Hashem are permeated with this concept of the redemption, and this is especially done through the study of Torah in matters of Geula and the Beis HaMikdash. And then the last directive that the Rebbe MHM tells us here in this Farbrengen, which is sort of a prelude to next week's Farbrengen, and that is that Hashem says through Avodav HaNeviim, through his servants the prophets, to every single Jew, Re'eh, Anoichi, Noisein, Lifnechem, Hayoim, Bracha. See that I, Hashem himself, am giving in a very generous way before you internally. Today, Mamish, this very day, Bracha, which blessing? That you're able to see Re'eh with your eyes. You're going to actually literally be able to see with your eyes of flesh the bracha of the Geula Hamitis V'Hashlema.